Good evening. Today is Monday, October 17th, 2022. This is a regular session of the Board of the School Trustees of the School City of East Chicago. The time is now 6:03 p.m. The place, School City of East Chicago Administration Building, 1401 East 144th Street in East Chicago, Indiana, 46312. This is also being streamed live at www.secec.k12.in.us. This is a meeting of the school board and public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. The first item on the agenda is a roll call. Ms. Bigham?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Present.
Trustee Gomez?
Present.
Trustee Williams?
Present.
Trustee Smith?
Present.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Present. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the
The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there any comments from the public in regards to item number 3, approval of the agenda? With none being heard, is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, make a motion to approve the agenda.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval. Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigham?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 4, we have a presentation, and the reason why we were a little bit late as board members. Dr. Abrego?
Yes, we have a board presentation from our Special Education Department, Ms. Tamara Pohl.
Good evening, Dr. Abrego and School Board of Trustees and our Cardinal family and community. Tonight we're here because we wanted to kind of showcase some of the great things that are going on in our job skills program. You've heard me many times talk about how we want to make sure that our students leave prepared, just as all the other students. And so we're trying to give them opportunities so that we ensure this happens. And so tonight, as you walked in, one of our jobs, because we have many jobs going on in businesses, we call them, and one of them is our coffee shop and our smoothie cart, which will be opening very soon. But without further ado, I'm going to have the team present, but I'm going to introduce. So I have Ms. Koulianis, who is our transition coordinator. Then I have Ms. Miriam, who is our PREETS, and she'll talk a little bit about our PREETS program. And then we have Miss Christina Torres. I always call her Menchaca, so I do apologize. So we'll get started, and then if you have any questions at the end. Yes.
So, good evening, and I'm Trish Koulianis, and I have a fantastic team here, but what really makes our team complete are our students. And there is a need within our community, both East Chicago, School City of East Chicago. Right now, currently, we have really grim statistics where we have one of five students with disabilities after high school ends up staying at home and not being employed and not using any type of skill. So part of our job program is to teach our students skills, to prepare them early, to align them with something they enjoy doing, to get them out, and hopefully when they graduate that they'll go beyond their home and they'll go outside into the community. And with our assistance, with the help of vocational rehabilitation, they will secure employment. So we have, and I'm going to let the girls talk about it in a little bit, but we have 3 businesses that we do in-house at Central High School. We have, as Mrs. Pohl mentioned, the coffee shop and the Cardinal Smoothie Shop, which will be opening soon at Central. We have bubbles and blankets. We do the laundry, our students do the laundry for the pre-K center over at Carrie Gosh. And we also have the Cardinal Cut. We have large recycling bins in each of the buildings for shredding. Our kids collect those bins and they do shredding for the teachers within the buildings. And we're getting ready to open that up to the small businesses within the community. If they need our kids to come and pick up shredding, and we will take it back and they will take care of that. So we have 3 businesses up and going right now within our school district at Central High School. So we're really proud of that because we kind of started them all at the same time. We started with the coffee cart before COVID, had to take a little bit of a break, and then now we just are rolling with all 3. So it gives the students a chance to kind of have some choices. We start looking at what students want to do at age 8th grade or 14. According to their IEP, it becomes what's called a transition IEP. And a transition looks at 3 different things. It looks at education, it looks at career, and it looks at independent living. So we start talking with our students as early as 7th, 8th grade, again, 8th grade or 14, whichever comes first. And we find what skills they enjoy, what they want to participate in, and we go on from there. I am going to let Miss Miriam. Miss Miriam is our pre-ETS employee, and she actually works for a company called PCG, Public Consulting Group. And Miss Miriam, vocational rehabilitation has sent pre-ETS out to the high school so that they can start getting the students ready during high school time instead of waiting until graduation and thereafter. So Miss Miriam is going to share with you what she does with the students.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Miriam Ortiz, and I do work for PCG. I'm the pre-ETS instructor, pre-employment and transition program, and Public Consulting Group. They help primarily public sector health, education, and human services organizations make measurable improvements to their performance and processes. So what we do, we focus on job exploration and counseling, workplace readiness training, work-based learning experiences, counseling and post-secondary and educational training, and self-advocacy and peer mentoring. So like she mentioned, we do work with the students. We do the bubbles and blankets every Friday. We go and collect the blankets from Carrie Gosh Friday morning, and we have the whole week, the next week, so we can wash those blankets, dry them, fold them, and have them ready for the next Friday. Then we go deliver the clean ones, pick up the dirty ones, and do it again every week. That is one of the jobs. The other one is shredding. So while the blankets are getting washed and dried, we go and shred papers. We have 2 shredding machines. That's right. And that picture is some of the students working with me in the Teacher Work Center. We were working in the education. We were talking about weaknesses and strengths. So we try to find out what our weaknesses and strengths are, skills we have and skills we need. We talk about it. We find out. We do career surveys, so we can find out what we like, what we want to do when we graduate from high school. You want to go to the next slide? Sure. So those are the jobs that we have: Cardinal Cut, the bubbles and blanket, Cardinal Smoothie. Okay, the Cardinal Cut. Yeah.
Keep going.
Yes, that is a picture of one of the students doing the shredding, and then another one cleaning. Usually whenever we shred, we make a big mess, so we make sure that we leave the place clean. So we learn also how to vacuum, because not everybody knows how to vacuum. So that's another job. Bubbles and blankets. So we wash, we dry, and we fold blankets and sheets in industrial machines at the school. There's more students folding and washing and doing the job. And the Cardinal Smoothie.
I'm sorry. I go back.
Hello everyone, I'm Christina Torres. Thank you all for coming tonight and looking at our beautiful students working, and then you see the smiles on their face, and it's really something that they enjoy. Some of you all know that we started the Dream Bean Coffee Cart before COVID. And the Dream Bean Coffee Cart was a student-run program where students would take orders for coffee and deliver it throughout the building at Central High School. We did this about 2 days a week, and it flowed really well. It was amazing. All the students in all 3 of the Applied Skills program participated in this. And they learned different skills: how to follow directions, social skills, talking to each other as a team, leadership skills. Because once we learned all the different types of skills that our students had, that's when us adults would come in and we would make sure, okay, we assigned barista, we assigned a supervisor. Okay, well, you are part of the cleanup crew, the organization crew. So we had different types of jobs for that department, our Dream Bean Coffee Cart. And those students would work 2 days, 3 days a week doing their specific job. And then we would rotate just to see and make sure, okay, well, maybe this student might be good in the leadership role or the barista role. So we had those different types of jobs. When COVID happened, unfortunately, we had to shut it down. Now we are kind of revamping the program and adding more to it. So now we have what's called the Cardinal Smoothie Corner. In the past with the Dream Bean Coffee Cart, it was all donation based, and it didn't look as professional as I wanted it to. So I talked with the team, and we needed money to help run this program, right, and make it look more professional. Like if someone was going to a Dunkin' Donuts or a 31 Flavors, and it looked professional. So we met up with the Kate Hardesty Foundation, and they gave a generous donation, and we ended up purchasing industrial machines or commercial machines for the Cardinal Smoothie Corner, which was named by students. They wanted to change the name from Dream Bean Coffee Cart, and where we house now the stationary coffee, and we're now starting to practice making the smoothies. So with this foundation, we were able to purchase, can I say it right? All these machines, purchased $1,000 machines, 3 of them, ice dispensers. We were able to purchase Keurig machines because, again, we had to transition to stationary instead of delivering things because of COVID. So we have all these machines, all these things now, and students are learning these skills. So again, it's this foundation you see here. So this happened last year where our students, we got together with the health department, with our administration team, our building administration, and of course our special education department, and we were able to convert the old teacher's lounge. Do you need me to be in here? Yes. I'm so sorry. Okay. So we were able to convert the old teacher's lounge to now this smoothie corner. As you can see, there's furniture here. This furniture was bought by the foundation and put together by our students with tools. So it didn't come like this. They had to actually put it together, and our students did that. They're cleaning, organizing, taking things out of packages here. This happened this year. This was our photo op because we got our sign coming soon, and so our students were able to kind of put the uniforms on and look through and kind of learn what the kitchen would look like for them.
There you go.
These are just students learning and just having fun, just seeing what the machines look like, okay? Getting a feel for things, organizing. This is what the stationary coffee cart looks like when you come in. Teachers can come in on any time they like and make their coffee to their liking. Our students fill this every day. They make sure there's the water and organize everything every day. Okay. This actually happened today. Our students went on a grocery store field trip, which everyone had permission for, and worked really hard to get our paraprofessionals trained to take them on these outings. They had to make a grocery store list. They had to shop for their own items, pay for their own items, bag their own items, and then we came, unloaded everything, and made smoothies. And every single one of our students were able to make smoothies today, one by one with Miss Miriam and I, and get that feel for how the machines work, how it looks, the taste test, and then we learned today we don't like Greek yogurt, so now we're gonna go find something else because that's not what any of our students liked, okay? We had almond milk, so anyways, we're gonna change that. But what I want to talk about next, which is our education and job skill outings. So Ms. Koulianos mentioned about our transition IEPs. And in each transition IEP, we have unique goals for students. And when I say unique goals, when we talk to these students, like Ms. Miriam does, about their skills, their needs, their wants, we try to hone in on what type of jobs they want to have after high school. So some students, they want to be a grocery store clerk. I have a student who wants to work in IT, a student that wants to be a hotel transporter. So what we try to do is we try to schedule field trips to these places so that students can get exposure to that. And on these field trips, we don't just go to these field trips. We make sure that we make contact. We talk to whoever's in charge there and make sure that they touch base on job skills, what the interview process looks like, how you should look when you go for a job, and things like that for our students. In the past, you see here, we went to Trade Winds, which is both. It's like an educational facility, independent housing, and also job skills. We went to the Griffith Airport here. Students learned what we exposed them to something different. A lot of students never thought about having aviation jobs. So this sparked their interest, and there's so many jobs that our students can do in aviation. We went to Erskine Green, which is a really, really nice facility in Indianapolis. We took a big bus, and it was a great field trip. We met a lot of great people, and Erskine Green is, I don't know if I should talk more about it. I could talk on and on and on, but it's a place where students can go and live and then also get the education training to have the different types of jobs. And then when they are done training for however many months it is, they receive a certificate of completion, and then they can go out and use that certificate of completion to find a job. And they'll even help find jobs.
And that's a college experience for our
Yes.
students with most significant disabilities.
My goal is to get at least one student there, so I really want someone to go. We went to, these are just, and again, some of our other trips that we went on. La Tierra Restaurant is attached to Griffith Airport, so it's like 2 field trips in one. Our students were able to order from a menu, talk to their peers, pay for, I love this place because they let each student pay for their own ticket, count their money, and get their change individually, so that was really nice. I can keep skip one. Okay. So this here is the career day. Miss Miriam took some students. They have like a career day in the gym, and they go and they learn about different venues there. We actually had one where I didn't put pictures up, where we invited Trade Winds, the Beads, vocational rehab, and we had that too for our students and invited our parents in to come to that. What you see in the middle here is students working on nails. So I don't know, I was talking about how we have unique goals for students. So one of the goals here, and which is we have to write into the IEPs, where this student wants to be a nail tech. So we wrote, well, twice a year, she has to open up her own business in our school and do nails. So for me, she had to get a staff. She had to send out an email, make sure she invites students to sign up to get their nails done, clean, organized. So that's a goal that she had. And then I'm gonna, Tammy, for next steps.
Yeah.
'Cause
So a lot of the experiences our students are, as far as being able to, I'm going to say, I lost my words, just take part in are especially geared towards their interests. They tell us what they want. We try to give them those opportunities. And we're partnering, as we said, with PCG, and our next steps are working with Heidi, who is in charge of PCG, to get our students to go to Purdue Northwest. And so they're going to actually have an opportunity to get jobs there, like in the cafeteria, in the library, in the fitness center, in the bookstore. That's in motion right now as we speak. The big picture is Heidi is looking to open up a program at Purdue Northwest where our students actually go there and have an opportunity to be part of Purdue. So they'll go to school, they will get a certificate, they'll actually have a living experience. They're looking at the dorms for our students so that they also can go to school and, work towards their future. That's what we're in the business for. So we're really excited about that. We're going to be taking another trip to Erskine Green very soon. But some of the items that we continuously are looking at are community businesses, and this is where you all can help. So we have looked at the Parks Department. We're partnering with the Parks Department. We're trying to see where we can get our kids into the community. So when they walk out of here, they are going to have such a well-rounded skill base where I've worked at the Parks Department, I've worked in IT. We're talking to Mr. Ontiveros. He's looking at helping us get our kids into the tech department, whether it's a summer job or during the school year. We are going to continue to knock on doors. We talked to Pastor Kelly today. He walked in. I started to talk to him. I told him about a kiddo that needed a job. Well, guess what? We're going to have a job for him at his restaurant. We're looking for our kids so that our kids are wonderful. They're the best kids in the world. I've said that. That's why I'm here. I'm going to stay here forever because I know that. And I just want to know that they're not sitting home, that that every child, when they walk out of here, to the best of their ability, they're doing something. So I need your help. We need your help as a team. And so whatever you can do to help us for our kids, hey, we'll,
Spread the word. We'll
Yes.
make the connection.
yes.
I feel like we've worked really hard,
Yeah.
getting everything started. We've gotten our name on the map now.
Yep.
We're working with Purdue, we're working with Erskine Green. And
Very
I think some of the smaller businesses within the community are gonna be happy to have us. It's just a matter of pounding the pavement and making that connection. So
Yep.
yes, help us out, and we'll set everything up.
So thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Brown. He has been so instrumental in opening his building and letting us take over one center. Now we're taking over the teacher's lounge. Whatever we ask for, he lets us. He knows it's for the kids. So we want to say thank you to everyone who's helped us. And we
Jeremy.
thank the future people who are going to help us. And so Jeremy actually has been amazing too. So all of the logos he created, and he has helped us. There's nothing he won't do for us. So thank you. We'll be knocking on your door. If you have an opportunity for our kids, please, by all means.
One last thing I want to say is we plan on having like a soft opening where we invite building administration and board members to come and try our smoothies. Once we get the recipe down pat, it's almost there, I promise. But we're hoping in sometime in November to do the soft opening and then open up to the school in January where we start doing that.
And it's all donations, by the way. So anybody that wants to make a donation, and it's just put back into the business for the kiddos. We also purchase things for them when they're in need. So, thank you. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? I don't have a question. Go ahead.
No, I'm just glad to see this program. I was a part of this program years ago in a different state, and I'm glad to see that we now have it in our district, but it wasn't from public schools, it was from a private entity, so my hat's off to you, thank you. We will do whatever we can to support you. I will anyway.
Ms. Pohl, I think it was, so my first year being on the board, I remember going to a conference, and they were giving out awards for just programs or things that, you know, the school district does, and they commended them, and you had an award for it. And I remember telling you about a T-shirt shop for our special education. And I told you, Ms. Pohl, I said, we need something like this, like no other. And if it's one thing I love to see is when people take action and not just talk about it. And you did that along with your team. Ms. Torres is a godsend to our students because she's won a lot of these. It's personal, obviously, and I hate to be personal, but I know how much effort you put into this along with everyone else. And our kids are already behind, or they're already labeled because they're minorities from East Chicago. And now that they're special ed, they don't expect for our children to do anything, and I'm glad that we have a team that makes sure that that's not the case. We asked you to have more jobs, you make that happen. And I have to say, when I talked to the mayor about this, about, can we open up the jobs? He gave us 3 departments that said that they're able, as long as you have PCG, and that he would definitely allow them to come in. So this is huge for our community, and I cannot thank you guys enough for putting the effort and making it happen for our students.
The PCG is willing to pay half of their salary, so that's even, because we're trying to get salaries.
The
That's other
salary
thing.
and job coaches.
Because a real job means you make money, and our kids need to make money, like everybody else.
So again, thank you, guys. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. Is there a motion for approval?
Madam
I'm
President,
sorry,
move for
I'm
approval.
sorry, I'm sorry, you are correct. Is there a comment from the audience in regards to the consent agenda? With none being heard, Ms. Bigum, is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, move for approval.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 6.1, approval of 2022-23 employee handbook. Dr. Abrego.
Yes, Madam President, we've been working on the handbook, collaborating with the union. Dr. Marlin has done a great job. I've also been collaborating with the union. So at this time, we're seeking approval of the teacher staff handbook.
Is there a comment from the audience in regards to the teacher staff handbook? Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? I have several. And this is something that was sent to you this morning, as well as we've discussed it a couple times. And the reason why I personally would ask to table this until this is all actually discussed and fixed. So there's an issue with the mission statement and vision statements that we have on multiple outlets. So you have it on the student handbook where the mission statement states learning for all, whatever it takes. And then on here, it states something different. And then the board policy, it actually was changed this morning to the correct one. The vision statement, though, one of them it's also different. And I believe that one's not changed. The goals for the employee handbook, I think you took that one off, if I'm correct. I have to recheck it. Sorry, I haven't checked it again since this morning. Well, the item that I sent was that the goals were also different, not board approved. I also had just asked Dr. Abrego, and I don't know if, in regards to the student staff dress code, or the staff dress code, at one point it was produced to us a policy that stated that jeans and running shoes were not allowed as a policy, but then when I went back to check the policy code PO 3216, that's not the case. And I know there has been talks beforehand. You stated that the board, the union president agreed to everything that was on here. So I'm confused at what has actually happened. So we cannot wear jeans. You're telling me the union's okay with not wearing jeans. It's agreed upon that, now we can't wear tennis shoes either. So if there's an emergency that breaks out where a student needs to get, or there's a fight, we have to run, let's make sure there's no tennis shoes. So I'm just trying to find a clarification as to all that. So those are all things that, I did ask, and that's why I definitely wanted to have it tabled. And I know you said we could just approve it, and then we could revise the mission statement, the vision statement, but then again, by approving this, we're saying that we're okay with what is done, yet it was approved in policy. So you take the policy portion of it, you follow it sometimes, but then sometimes policy is not followed. So it's, which one is it going to be? So I just say, to me, I would not approve this, and I do ask for it to be tabled just to get fixed. That's all.
Well, two things. Number one is we've been working on this for quite a while, and I just want to let the board members know that when you adopt a policy, it's general, but you also give the administrative team the ability or authority to put the verbiage in there so we can apply the policy. And we've done that in this case. And I know you had a concern about the vision, mission, and goals, but in my opinion, that would be a quick fix. Once we know exactly the one that the board adopted, we can replace those pretty quickly. As far as the dress code, I can tell you that we've met with the union. I did, Mr. Marlin has, and we're all good with the verbiage in there. So I'm still asking for approval with the changes to the mission, vision, and goals, that they will be consistent with what was adopted.
So Dr. Abrego, if we're just waiting for that, those mission, vision, and goals, can we just postpone it until we actually get it? Because so it could all just, we would actually have to approve the student policy again, the student handbook again, along with this.
Well, you're talking about two things now. The student policy is not something that we're trying to get through. This is the teacher staff handbook. So if we just stay with that item and get that one through, then we can address maybe others at a different time.
So I'm just trying to let you know that they're both wrong, is what I was trying to let you know. So the student one is, it's not correct according to the policy, and the one that was before us is also not correct. So there's the policy, mission statement, and vision statement. Then there's a student handbook, mission statement, and vision statement. Then there's a staff handbook, vision statement, mission statement. They're all three different ones. I'm just asking that it all looks the same,
I agree.
like the policy. So in other words, if we could just not approve this right now, fix it, bring it back on the table, the student one as well as the staff one, then we all approve the whole thing.
Well, again, that's one option, and I hope that the entire board sees that. It's just a minor change. Whatever vision, mission, and goals you have for the entire district that you have adopted, we can quickly put that in our handbook. And then, again, that would be the only change that would be necessary.
Madam
We can move
President,
forward.
Trustee Williams.
looking through this, the handbook too, I did have a few concerns. I thought I wrote them down, but I didn't. But I am in agreement, and I'm not sure if this is the time or not, but I would like to pass a motion to, if we can table this for further discussion as well.
So are you saying there's a motion, you'd like to make a motion to
I'd like
table?
to put a motion on the table if we can table this into further discussion.
Trustee Williams would like to table the approval of the 22-23 employee handbook. Is there a second for the motion?
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Do I have to ask the audience first for this secondary motion? Are there any questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Gomez.
this question's for Dr. Abrego. The current employee handbook was revised, and so it sounds to me like the mission and vision were original parts of the employee handbook, correct?
Well, what I did bring with me is the vision, mission of the corporation, and it says it was last modified March 14th, 2022. So I believe that should be the latest one. That's the one I'm talking about, we incorporate in the handbook.
Just to clarify, Trustee Gomez, the reason why those say March 2022 is because that's when we ended up switching over from Neola to NSBA. So if you look at our policies now, mostly all of them have that at the bottom.
I recognize there's a motion on the floor, so if there's a policy, I'm sorry, if there's a mission and vision statement already board approved, then it would be a simple matter of the superintendent changing that through a secondary motion to, or a clarification on the original motion. Would that be correct, Attorney Harris?
No, he made a secondary motion to table this.
I understand that. I'm asking Attorney Harris the question.
Could you? Yes, but right now, the.
I understand that,
Yes. Could you, though? Yes.
Yeah. So that would have been an easy fix there, as Superintendent said, to get those out of the way. And if the teachers' union has already sat down and agreed, and Mr. Mark Mitchell, you were part of this? Yeah. If there's already been agreement by the administration and the teachers' union, I'm okay with its current status as presented to us, minus the changes that would be required for the mission and vision statement.
Are there any other questions for the secondary motion?
Just one, Madam President.
Trustee Rodriguez.
And this is probably going to go to Superintendent. Is there a deadline for, if we decide to table this for 2 weeks? Is there a deadline or?
No, there's no deadline, but I would say the sooner we get it done, it would bring consistency throughout the district so that everyone understands what the new staff handbook is going to say for 22-23 school year.
So then my question will be to Madam President. By correcting those two concerns that you had, by correcting those two, would you still be interested in tabling it, or is there something
Well,
else?
there's three concerns that you have to, it's and I think they fixed, I'm sorry, it's two, but the goals were not fixed. That's not board approved. The mission statement, the vision statement, I don't believe, no, those two were changed. It's just the goals. But I'll tell you right now.
I think, was it the policy, you said the policy 3216?
The policy, I brought up the policy in regards to the dress code, the staff dress code. Because, unfortunately, I've heard many people complain about the no jeans situation, but if the union president's stating that they're okay with it and they're okay with not wearing jeans, then I just don't want the staff to come and yell at the board, because I don't ever want people to say that the board is the one who said no jeans to nothing, because that's what's going to happen in the minute we pass this. So I just want you, and no running shoes.
Is it also,
Provision that says that they can wear jeans on a designated day.
Correct.
Correct. And that's,
I mean, but so they could wear it every day?
if you read the staff handbook, it will say that individuals or staff cannot wear jeans, but they can wear jeans at the principal's discretion on certain days that they designate. So that's the understanding we had, and we were both in agreement with that. Am I correct? Yes.
But I'm saying, as long as when the teachers come and say, the board said this, because that's what the superintendent's saying, the board policy, the board said this, as long as we could, like I told you when we met on Thursday, as long as I could throw it right back at them and say, no, this is what you guys agreed to. This is what your representative stated that you were okay with. So it has nothing to do with what the board wanted and how the board said. I'm surprised that us, as the safety of the individuals, as the safety of the teachers, you would not want what's called running shoes, I guess, and I'm assuming that's gym shoes?
They're different.
Well, I mean, that's great to have clarification.
Well, you know what I
So they
think,
could wear gym shoes, but not,
what I think you're doing here is, though, you have given us a directive as a superintendent and our leadership team to go out and get this done. We sat down with the union, we cooperated, collaborated with them, we did exactly what we were told, and we both agreed on the dress code. We're good with it, so we're asking you move it forward. Now, when Mr. Rodriguez asked me about this is something that's usually done over the summertime so that we can start the school year off with the staff handbook and everyone having that understanding and they can sign off on it. And it is getting a little bit late. There is no timeline, but the sooner the better so that we can move forward with this. But as far as I'm concerned, and I said it earlier, we're in agreement with the verbiage for the dress code. The only thing that we need to do is, you've already adopted a mission and vision statement. I'm assuming that the goals were adopted also, so that would be the only change needed, and then we can move forward.
Dr. Abrego, when we talked on Thursday, as a board, yes, I know you're giving us your recommendations, but I explained to you very clearly that unless I understand what you're talking about, I can't vote on it. So if I don't know what running shoes are, because my assumption right now is that I will never see a teacher with gym shoes on, period. So I'm asking you, so I could decide whether or not I'm going to vote on this or not. So that's my due diligence in asking what it is. So you would assume that you would answer the question.
I'm trying to answer the question, but you gave us a directive on what to do. We got it done, and now it's like, I hate to say it's like what you want, and then we've already done our work. We've done everything that we were asked to do. We sat down with the union. We collaborated with the union. We defined the dress code. We were in agreement. So I don't know what else there is to do.
Very simple. I'm asking a question. Is running shoes considered the gym shoes? So if these are gym shoes, so I wear gym shoes to school?
I think we're just beating a dead horse. We're going to go round and round because we have everything in place that's needed to move forward.
Angie. It's a simple question. Can I wear tennis shoes to school, the gym shoes to school?
Well, here's the simple question is, you asked us to collaborate with the union. We did. We got it done. The verbiage is there. Let's move forward already.
Attorney Harris, can I ask these questions of the policies that I have to stamp my name on and approve it? So in other words, I don't truly know everything.
But it's
So
not.
can I ask the question?
Yeah, you can, but I think probably the better question might be, what is the understanding between the administration and the union since they've had this conversation? That probably is a question that'll get you to where you were trying to get to.
Yeah, thanks.
And Madam President, also, if I can add, looking at policy 3216, basically it states, to be physically clean, neat, well-groomed. I mean, it doesn't really talk about specifically with gym shoes or any type of attire, but it just basically, me reading this, it's more of a general concept in terms of how teachers should present themselves, and I'm pretty sure they're going to present themselves in a proper way, leading by example. So of course, this is a Neola policy 2009, but does need to be addressed, but.
So Trustee Rodriguez, I guess that was one of the issues when we came to a policy meeting. There was something that was given to us that stated that they couldn't wear jeans, they couldn't wear it was more detailed. As you look in your handbook, it says all these things that you cannot do. And again, that's why my question is that, because I could go into school with what I have on, jeans, some shoes, a nice jacket, and I support my school all I want, and I think that's professional, so our teachers could do it that way. And like I stated in an example in our policy meeting, some people might assume that a male with an earring on as a teacher is not allowed, that's not professional in dress. It just depends. Corporate world has changed. So I guess that's why that was my concern. So let's go back to Attorney Harris's, what he stated of what's the understanding of what it is, what they're asking of our staff. Can they wear, gym shoes or?
And also too, Madam President, I think we need to understand that our policies have to be sort of general in terms of allowing a flexibility to the superintendent, the administration, as well as the teachers. And I think what they developed here in this policy, that it's also noted in the student handbook, is pretty precise, but without getting into the details of what materials or whatever, whether they're jeans or whatnot, I think it's pretty, it seems like it stands for itself, and knowing that the superintendent will abide by our policy unless it's changed. So if our policy isn't changed, then I can't see the superintendent going outside of what our policy states.
But he did, he made it more precise. Like, it's general we have, he just kind of,
Right, so that gives him the flexibility to communicate with the teachers and staff, as well as the administrators, to sort of, to find the right appearance for the teachers and staff, so.
okay, so can you just further explain what the understanding of the no tennis shoes or no running shoes means?
Could you ask one more time, please?
What is the understanding between you, the superintendent, and the teachers' union of what no running shoes means?
Our policy simply states that individuals cannot wear jeans. And then added to that or the handbook, it states that on certain days, principals have what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. Okay, the autonomy to designate certain days where teachers can't wear jeans. They could be spirit days, they could be other kind of days. And again, we sat down with the union and I want to restate to the whole board, you made the policy. It's up to the superintendent and our team to put in the specific verbiage so we could carry out that policy. And we did that by collaborating with the union, and we're all good with it. So we just want to move forward because we're good with everything that's written there. So it does give the opportunity for teachers to wear their jeans on certain days, not every day, but on certain days where the principal designate those days. So we're good.
Go ahead, trustee Williams.
My major concern is not so much the jeans, but I know Mrs. Our union president did talk about spirit gear at one point in time during one of our board meetings. But for the most concern for me is the vision statement and mission statements. I do know that those things were board approved, but we are under a new administration, and I don't believe since Dr. Abrego, you've been the superintendent, that you kind of given us the vision that you want to move this district to. I know we've talked about goals and admirations and where you want to take the district, but those vision statements, it does not match from what's in the student handbook versus the teacher's handbook. So those are my concerns and the reason why I asked it be tabled. So those are things that we can discuss as a board. And if time is not of the essence, I just don't understand why it has to be approved today without us having a discussion as a governing body in regards to making sure that those things coincide with one another and they look like each other, not so much the jeans issue. I know that's an issue for other board members, but I would like those things to be clarified as well.
Madam President?
Trustee Rodriguez.
In these type of situations, when you have an agreement between two parties, you know, our job is not to interact into an agreement that they've already made. Just like with our contracts, we ratify. In this situation, there's an agreement between the teachers union and the administration, as well as the teachers, I believe, to approve this handbook. So our job is not to add or subtract to what they've already accomplished. Our job is to either accept it or deny it. And to my understanding, it's agreed by both parties. I'm willing to go with it. I mean, if we table this, what are we going to add or subtract if they've already approved, if the union already approved it, or the parties already approved it?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not even going to go there, but I do want to state that first, that what verbatim it says in this handbook is that articles of clothing such as jeans, shorts, T-shirts, which I'm assuming these T-shirts, you couldn't wear it with nice shoes, jogging suits, sweats, hats, bandanas, and or other inappropriate footwear, running shoes, flip-flops, or slides are not considered professional attire and must not be worn. So it kind of was in detail. One, two, the fact that you're saying that there's two agreements between the teachers' union and the superintendent has nothing to do with the fact that we're the ones who actually approve it. I've told you many times before, I would not approve something that I'm not in understanding with. And if we approved policy for something, then why are we changing it up completely for the handbook? That was all.
Madam President, I think what they've done is they've worked with the scope of our policy. They didn't go outside of the policy. So my question to you is, any other items that are in this particular handbook was agreed upon between both parties? So why would we change anything that has already been agreed? Now, unless we're going to add something, or unless there's something missing, then I can see that being an understanding. But in this case, there's not. This was already agreed by both parties, so why change it?
Before we go into
I
the
apologize,
vote,
Madam President. I did have too much coffee, so I do apologize for that.
before the vote, I just have one more question that I asked and it was not answered. I know on there it says for the winter weather closures, the inclement weather closures, that was on there. I was just wondering why we didn't add, like if there was a COVID or a pandemic, is that considered the emergency closings also?
That verbiage was in there, it didn't say specifically for COVID, but I think it stated in other emergency situations.
Okay, so
that
that's
was
where it
covered.
would fall under.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so there's a motion on the table that states that we will table these handbooks. That was all the questions. Ms. Bigum, roll call, please.
Madam President, what are we going on
This is the
this?
motion to table.
The motion to table the item 6.01.
And just for clarity, if the motion to table
Fails,
fails,
then
then
it
there's
goes-
another motion that we're getting back to.
Okay. The motion on the floor is for the tabling of item 6.01. Ms. Bigum?
Trustee Rodriguez?
No.
Trustee Gomez?
No.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item 6.02, approval of usage of Cary Gash parking lot. Dr. Abrego?
Yes, the event has already passed. I think it's a formality that the Parks and Recreation Department have an ongoing agreement. So there was just a formality where a letter was written, a courtesy letter. But everything was in order, and it was a fun event, and it took place on Saturday. It was a very nice Mayor Anthony Copeland's 5K, and we had great success.
Is there a comment from the audience? Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
The only problem that I have with that is the date. That was it.
And I personally do apologize because it has something to do with me. But I do want to thank Dr. Abrego, the winner of the 5K. Literally, the grounds look great out there. Things were picked up. Everything was put out there early to make sure that it looks good. So I think we were able to show off the track to other community members, which they did make mention that they did not know it was there, and they actually wanted to know if they could go in there, and I told them no. That stays closed, unfortunately, to the community, so, but again, thank you for the use. Is there any more questions? Ms. Bigum?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 6.03, approval of contractual services for innovation instructional coach at Bishop Noel Maria Roswell.
Right. Yes, we have a partnership. School City of East Chicago receives Title I funds, but in some of these cases, the students from East Chicago attend parochial schools. So the agreement is when the title money comes to us, our federal programs director uses a formula on how many students qualify from their schools for Title I programs. At this time, they have some students there, and they're asking for after-school tutoring. So based on a formula, They're going to have their own instructors there. It's really Title I monies that they're entitled to. They just came to our district, and they come from our district, and we'll forward it to them.
Is there any comments from the audience? Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, make a motion to approve?
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigum?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 6.04, approval of contractual services of innovation instructional coach at Bishop Noel, Kevin Bergen.
Yes, it'd be basically the same thing. It's our Title I funds that we're allocating to Bishop Noel schools based on their Title I number of students.
Is there any comments from the audience?
I couldn't hear the question.
If Bishop Noel has a Hammond address, why doesn't it go through Hammond?
Can you help me with that, Ms. Costello?
In Chicago?
Students.
I'm just curious, but thank you.
East Chicago student, yeah. It follows, the money follows the student.
East Chicago students go to Gary, they're gonna ask us for money?
East Chicago students are at Bishop Noel.
And then some other places too.
If you would,
Can we go to the mic?
I'll research with DOE, thanks.
Ms. Costello, if you want to clarify, you can just go to the microphone, just let us know. And I heard,
Ms. Simmons also knows.
can you clarify that for us, Ms. Costello?
Title I money follows the student, and these students are from East Chicago. So if they're living, the families are living in East Chicago, they choose to go to Bishop Noel, and money follows them to Bishop Noel. Again, we have students who are currently in Gary, and they are going to Bishop Noel. And now they want us to monitor that money,
So
just so you know that.
I got a question, Madam President.
Go ahead, Trustee Rodriguez.
So Ms. Costco, so if Gary students go to Bishop Noel, it's Gary's responsibility to pay for those students from Gary, correct?
Yeah.
So we
But
pay for
Bishop
our
Noel-
students, everyone pays for their students wherever, if they're going to Bishop Noel.
Connected with the choice school.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is there a motion for? Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, make a motion to approve?
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms.
Madam
Bigum?
President.
Oh, Trustee Gomez.
Just to keep formality with the way we do business here, board members should not be asking questions until the question section comes up to the business item in front of us. That's all. I'm ready for a vote.
Are there any other questions?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item 6.05, approval of agreement of Purdue University Northwest for students dual credit.
Yeah, so I'll try to explain this, and I may need a little bit of help. But basically, it's an agreement with Purdue University, and what we want to do with that is make sure that our students take 30 dual credit courses, 30 hours, and when they take those 30 hours in those designated courses, they will be approved by any college in the state of Indiana.
Is there any comment from the audience? Is there a motion for approval?
There was a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are these classes AP classes?
They could be. It could be dual enrollment, AP classes, and one other one.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah, I'll just talk like, all right.
They can't hear you.
This is a significant difference between AP courses and dual credit courses. Dual credit courses are courses that are taught by regionally accredited institutions. By them being taught by regionally accredited institutions, those credits will go to any college or university in the United States that participates in that. When you look at AP courses, those courses are given by the College Board. Those courses, the student will have to take a test to place into what's called college credit, but the college does not have to accept those credits because they're not regionally accredited. And so therefore, there's a tremendous difference between those two, and dual credit is usually the way that you want your students to go because those credits will count credit for credit when they decide to go to an institution of post-secondary education.
Correct. And what that does is taking those 30 hours, it really counts as their freshman year of college.
Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, I make a motion for approval.
Trustee Williams makes a motion for approval. Trustee
I'll second.
Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions from the board? Ms. Bigum?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Next item we have is the superintendent's remarks.
Yes, well, at this time, I'd like to introduce two new individuals that have come to work at the School City of Chicago. We want to welcome Ms. Michelle Andes, who is going to be, or who is our Director of Secondary Education, and Dr. Marilyn Mitchell, who is our new HR Director. We'd like to welcome you to our district. We're glad you chose the School City of Chicago, and we wish you much success here. And I do have a few other announcements. That on Wednesday, October 12th, we had our first superintendent forum at the main library. And I'm pleased to say that we had 80 parents, individuals in attendance for our morning session and about 40 or 50 in our evening session. So we're grateful that we had that. And then very important for our parents, this Wednesday, we're going to have our parent-teacher conferences at all of our schools, and that is going to be from 11 o'clock to 6 p.m. So we're asking all our parents, please come out and find out how your children are doing in our schools. And we've already spoken about this one, but on Saturday, it was a little bit cold out there, but we had a lot of runners out there for Mayor Anthony Copeland's first 5K run, and that was held at Tart Park. We had a great event, and the School City of Chicago is well represented because we had many teachers and other individuals there, so we appreciate you participating, as well as many other individuals from throughout the city. The fire department, the police department were all represented, but it was a very good day and a very good event for all of us. And that's it.
Thank you. Next, we will have trustee remarks. Are there any trustee remarks?
Madam President,
Trustee Williams?
we know the season is changing, and I'm not sure, I've gotten several phone calls from concerned parents, especially within my district, and it's a concern of mine as well. It's starting to get cold outside, and I take my granddaughter to school every morning at Washington Elementary School, and the parents are complaining or have a real concern, and I didn't want to take it to the principal, so I'm bringing it to the board so we can either talk to the principal there, but kids are standing outside. They have to wait for a certain period of time before they go into the building. Our kids, for whatever reason, don't have coats and hats and gloves, and I think that's just a sign of kids being sick right off the back. So I'm not sure if something can be done in regards to allowing them to go into the gymnasium, go into the cafeteria, and to teachers pick them up. But I know that has been done in the past. It wasn't so bad in the summertime when it's hot outside, but the temperature is changing, and it's been very cold. Today probably was one of the coldest days, and you couldn't imagine how many kids I've seen outside that didn't even have coats on today. So that's my question. Maybe Dr. Abrego, you can talk to Mrs. Hogan over at Wasatonnell and Mrs. Caroga. I see it a lot over at Block Middle School as well. So that was my question, my comment, and trustee remarks. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Williams, we'll look into that for you.
Are there any other trustee remarks?
Madam President?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Just a quick comment with regard to the 5K run. It's good to see that we had teachers' unions, we had a lot of teachers, administrators that were at that 5K run. But I do want to acknowledge someone who came in first place, which is our superintendent, Dr. Running Man Jay Brago.
Trustee Smith?
Yes, this might be out of order right now because we were talking about this handbook. So can I just maybe bring up a discussion about that right now? Personally, the goals and the vision, I do agree with. The dress code, that's not my issue right now. What I'm going to say now is, all of these things that we are attacking in our public board meeting should be discussed in an executive session so that we wouldn't have to be going back and forth. The community does not understand what we're talking about. So from now on, I'm just saying this, from now on, we should be able to discuss this prior to, in detail, before we come before the community and a board meeting. I'm done with that. That was my statement.
Any other remarks? Trustee remarks?
Madam President,
Trustee Gomez?
in response to that, that is not allowed in an executive session, so that cannot happen as much as you would like it to happen. And again, this is an administrative decision. I want to applaud actually Mr. Mitchell, Ms. Steinbeck, and the superintendent for working on this so hard as you did, to raise the standard, of professionalism in the organization, to me, is exciting and a positive change regardless of how some individual teachers may feel. As a safety professional, been doing this for 20-some years, shoes don't matter in an emergency, and gym shoes don't get you out any quicker than street shoes do. So been doing this a long time. There's a lot of other factors involved in whether someone's going to slip, trip, or fall. I just want to commend those individuals for working on that policy. I wish we could move forward a little quicker than we do. We seem to at times cause obstacles where none need to happen. So I have one other statement, but I'll leave that off the table for now.
But thank you for making that clear about the
You're
executive
welcome.
session. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's your final comment, then? Trustee Gomez?
I may have something else.
I do have a comment, and I'm sure you'll be next, Trustee Gomez. So I had a community member express concern over an incident that happened at Central High School between a teacher and a student. And the reason why this is a concern to me, because the family believed that the child was antagonized to do the action to whatever happened. I think we're still waiting to hear exactly what happened in that situation, as well as we have yet to hear what took place after to the teacher and/or the student. And while we have an amazing staff, some can bring attention to concern. In today's day and age, we have to not only address the social emotional well-being of students, but we also have to address the social emotional well-being of staff, as we have noticed with recent situations in surrounding school districts. There is some training that needs to be done between our teachers sometimes, and that's a de-escalation, and how to actually have conversations with students. And we also need to support our teachers and staff by letting them know that there are social workers available for them at all times. We don't want anything tragic to happen, so we need to make sure that we're able to support not only the staff, but also the students, and training might be it. I had a teacher ask me, how can they call the main office if their intercom's not working, yet the intercoms do work in that building, and they're a brand-new teacher. They just didn't know because they were not trained to do it. Again, training is a key thing that has to be done. Diversity training. How do I know about this child and what goes on at home, what they like and what they don't like, what they're used to, what they're not used to, things that need to happen. On a better note, I did want to say thank you to all the teachers and those who came to participate in the 5K this weekend, as well as to our champion over here, Dr. Abrego. He literally did it in ease. I was like, he told me he was a runner, and he literally did it. Then he said he couldn't win it because he said he was injured, but he won it no problem. And the main thing that some of our workers were saying, he ran Todd Park and MacArthur Golf Course prior to actually running in the race. So congratulations to you, Dr. Abrego.
Thank you.
With that being runners, I know you're going to like this one. We have a young lady that we need to commend, a freshman named Leela Edmonds. She is not only an honor student at Central High School, but she is also a volleyball player, a basketball player, and she's also a cross-country runner, and she is the only individual who actually qualified for regional cross-country. So congratulations for her on her first time running, and again, a dual sport in one group. So that was all for me.
Madam President, I just did recall one statement I wanted to make. Well, I'll make
Trustee
two.
Gomez, go ahead.
Thank you. One was, I wanted to thank Dr. Abrego for hosting those community meetings. Those were very positive, and I know you discussed partnerships during both of those sessions. And I did talk to Pastor Kelly Williams, and he did express how positive he felt about the relationship that you've established with him, Dr. Abrego. So I want to pass it on to you. And just a comment that was made previously. I've been on this board as a district member, and I've been on this board now currently as an at-large member. And one of the things that I find is that as an at-large member, I have a more global view of what the district should look like and my concerns about every school in our district. One of the issues that I find with, and I think inadvertently, Trustee Williams showed the problem with having district positions. He mentioned Block in Washington that both reside in his district. Yet the kids at Lincoln, McKinley, Harrison, and Central, along with Kerry Gosh, suffered the same issues that those kids at Block in Washington do. At some point in time, I would hope the legislature looks at changing these district seats into at-large seats so that we can begin looking at this district in a more holistic manner than we currently do. That was my final comment.
Madam President,
Trustee Williams.
in response to you, Trustee Gomez, the only reason I mentioned those two locations is because one Block is directly across the street from my house, not necessarily meaning my district. And I said before I started the comment is that I drop my grandbaby off at Washington Elementary School every day. Didn't mean that I was neglecting any other district or any other school. I just stated those two because those were two directly schools that I see every day on a personal level. So that's the only reason for that.
Okay, thank you.
President, thank you.
Thank you. The next date and time for the next meeting will be on Monday, November 7th, 2022.
Madam
And
President,
it'll be at 6 p.m. Trustee Gomez.
do we have public comment?
We did not, I'm sorry. There was no public forum.
I was just going to tell you.
That's why I
mention-
moved forward,
mention
yeah.
that no one signed up.
Correct, there was no public forum. Again, the next meeting will be November 7th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Madam President, make a motion to adjourn.
Trustee Rodriguez makes motion for adjournment.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Ms. Bigum?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee